Hello and welcome back to Movie Recap Time. Today, we will be recapping a 1994 thriller movie titled Speed. But before we start, if you enjoy our recaps, please subscribe as it helps us enormously. Enjoy! A bomber went to the engine room of a company. He was caught by the security guard. The security guard asked for his permit. In an attempt to bring out a fake permit, he stabbed the security with a knife, thereby killing the security guard. The staff had just finished a meeting at that company. They all entered the elevator to go downstairs. Little did they know that the extortionist bomber had attached bombs to the elevator, and the elevator stopped midway, leaving everyone stranded in the elevator. SWAT officers were called, and the bomber requested a ransom of $3 million before he could release his hostages. He told them to deliver the money in an hour. Henry and Jack went to the engine room to check the bomb. When they checked it, they concluded the bomber was a professional, and there was no way they could save the hostages. The hostages wondered why the company didn't send an engineer but the police. They begged the police to save them. Jack suggested they shoot one of the hostages, but Henry thought otherwise. So they both decided to find a way out. They climbed down to the top of the elevator by using a rope. The timer on the bomb showed they only had 5 minutes left. The bomber noticed some foul play and released the first part of the bomb. There was tension as a bomb cut the wire Henry was holding on to. The hostages cried for help. They asked the police to help them as they did not want to die. Jack and Henry ran toward the opening side of the elevator, called for backup, and dragged everyone from the elevator. After everyone left the elevator dropped. Jack and Henry rested by the elevator, discussing why the bomber released the bomb earlier than 1 hour. Jack believed the bomber was still in the building. Henry told Jack they had checkpoints at all entrances, and no one left the office with anything illegal. Then they remembered the freight elevator. The two of them ran towards the freight elevator. As they walked on it, the bomber shot them from under the elevator. They tried to hide from the gunshots, but it was not possible, so Henry fell to where the bomber was. He was then captured. When Henry fell, Jack jumped into the elevator to rescue Henry. The bomber then strapped bombs to Henry. He commented that he knew nobody would give him $3 million for just 2 hostages, but if Jack moved an inch toward him, he would detonate the bomb and kill Henry. Henry told Jack to shoot the hostage, so Jack shot Henry. The bomber left Henry on the floor, went out through the back door, and detonated his bomb before Jack could shoot. The police force organized an appreciation party for the two friends as they saved all the hostages, giving both of them awards. That night, the police force threw an after party. During the party, Henry told Jack they were just lucky, and in their profession, luck runs out fast. Henry asked him not to risk anything for the bomber again because luck may not be on their side next time. The following day, Jack went to the shop where he bought milk and greeted his friends. He left the coffee shop to enter his car. Suddenly, a bus coming behind Jack's car exploded. Jack ran towards the moving car, thinking he would be able to save the driver, but he was too late. The phone center around the corner rang. Jack went to pick up the call, and it was the bomber. Sarcastically, the bomber asked him if he thought he would get another medal if he saved the drivers. The bomber told him he spoiled his 3 years plan. He said he had been planning the elevator hostages since 2 years ago, and just when he was about to achieve his goal, Jack spoiled his plan. He told Jack he would get his money back. He informed Jack that there was a bomb in a moving bus. Once the bus speeds to level 60, it would activate the bomb, and if the driver drives less than 50, the bus would detonate and kill everyone on the bus. The bomber told Jack the bus number and the direction the bus was moving towards. Here is the bus. The driver of the bus is Sam, and Annie, a regular rider on the bus, was trying to get Sam to wait for her. Jack entered his vehicle and traced the bus. They were traffic on the way, so Annie asked Sam to step on the gear and move the bus faster, but Sam told her not to spit on his bus. During the traffic, Jack was able to get near the bus. Jack came out of his car and ran towards the bus telling the driver to please stop the bus. He told the driver he was from the police but refused to stop the bus. Sam drove away. Jack stopped running and hijacked a car from the car owner. The owner gave him access to the vehicle and asked that he didn't crash his car. Jack entered, drove the car, and chased the bus. Jack hit every other car on the way to get nearer to the bus. Luckily for Sam, he had not gotten to the 50 speed limit. Immediately he got to 50, the bomb underneath the bus started counting. Jack overtook other cars and drove nearer to the bus. He shouted to Sam and told him there was a bomb in the car. They were in transit, so that Sam couldn't hear him. When he burrowed out his badge, Sam knew he was with the police but still didn't know why he was chasing their bus. So Jack asked the owner of the car he was driving to write bomb on bus on a piece of paper and show Sam. When Sam saw the note, He was afraid and stepped on his brake to stop. Jack shouted again, asking Sam not to stop the bus. He asked Sam to open his door, and when Sam opened the door to the bus, he told Sam to maintain the speed of 50. If not, they would all die. He asked the car owner to call the police force and asked to speak with Henry. Although Henry was asleep, Sam's call woke him up. He told Sam the bomber wasn't dead, and he was back with a revenge plan. Their boss took the helicopter to save them and asked Henry to find out what type of bomb was used and how to defuse the bomb. He asked the car owner if he had insurance and then hit his car to a truck, thereby breaking the door. Sam jumped into the bus. Before jumping into the bus, he collected a phone from the car owner. When Sam entered the bus, Annie was furious. Annie asked why Sam was threatening the bus driver as he was making everyone scared. Sam brought out his gun to signify he was a policeman. One of the passengers was a criminal. Immediately, he saw Jack was a policeman. He brought out a gun and asked the bus to stop. Jack begged him and told him that he wasn't a policeman, so he should drop his gun. The passenger refused to drop the weapon, and another passenger attacked him from the back, thereby shooting the weapon. The bullet hit Sam while he was driving. Annie replaced Sam and took the steering wheel from him. Jack informed the whole bus that there was a bomb on their bus, and if they slowed down, they would die. If anyone exited the bus, they would die. He asked Annie to maintain her speed. Annie told him she was riding the bus because her driving license had been seized. The reason for the seizure of her license was because of speeding. So Jack knew the bus was in safe hands. Henry called Jack to check where the bomb had been attached. Jack checked under the bus and told Henry what he saw, including a gold wristwatch. Jack and the aircrew were in the air, trying to pave the way for the moving bus. They were met with many obstacles while trying to navigate traffic, but Annie drove through all of them until they got to an accessible path cleared by Jack. At the police station, Henry thought about what kind of person the bomber could have been. He knew he was a professional, and he knew the different types of bombs and which type of decoy should be used. Suspiciously, Henry asked for the record of all policemen for the last 10 years. When the bus got to the freeway, everyone on the bus was relieved. Jack appreciated Annie's work and told her he hadn't met someone who drives like that. Annie asked what was happening, and Jack explained it was a game, and the bomber was only using the bus to get back at him. Jokingly, Annie asked what would happen if the bomber lost. Jack replied that they would play the game again tomorrow. Jokingly, Annie added that she wasn't free to drive got him tomorrow. At the station, Henry kept checking all the pictures of past officers to be sure. Jack and his team were happy about Jack's achievement at the moment. They asked Jack if he could offload the passengers, but Jack knew he couldn't do that. The bomber asked to speak to Jack. When they spoke, Jack asked for permission to take Sam off the bus. After pleading with the bomber, he allowed Jack to offload Sam. When Sam got down, one of the passengers named Helen attempted to go down with Sam, but the bomber detonated step one of the bombs and made Helen fall onto the freeway to his death. Everyone was scared. They all started to argue because they didn't want to die. Jack was informed that the freeway would end in few miles ahead. Jack was angry he wasn't informed about the break on the road, and he told Jack about the break. Jack told the passengers there was a break on the road in 50 feet, and he told Annie to fly over the break. When they got nearer to the break, he asked them to sit tight, and Annie flew over the gap in the road. Everyone on the bus was pleased. Jack asked Annie to leave the freeway and drive towards the airport, considering that the airport was crowded. He asked Annie to drive in a circle over and over. He got a call from the bomber. The bomber told him to get him the money because the negotiators were trying to play him. During the conversation, the bomber told Jack he also got a medal, and after he injured his hands in the force, they gave him an award and dismissed him. Jack told him he would get the money if he would let him get off of the bus. The bomber allowed Jack to get off the bus. Jack planned with Jack to slide under the bus while the bus was moving to defuse the bomb. Jack used a specially built device to get under the bus while it was moving. He was on a call with Henry so he could instruct him on how to defuse the bomb. They were unable to defuse the bomb. Henry got a report that the bomber was Howard Payne. He retired in 1989 and was a member of the anti-bomb squad. He told Jack to stop trying to cut the bomb as they would go for the bomber himself. Henry and his team went to the bomber's house, but the house was rigged to blow if somebody entered. The bomber called Jack with Henry's phone to inform him Henry was dead. Jack was furious. As he screamed he saw a tag on Annie's cloth. Wildcat. He remembered the bomber called her a wild car and figured the bomber had been watching them. They fooled the bomber by asking the local news to record the transmission and plat the video in a loop. So the bomber thought they were still on the bus. Jack offloaded everyone from the bus to the police truck. Jack and Annie were the last two on the bus, but they could not escape with the others. They both escaped the bus through the floor access panel. The empty bus crashed into a plane and exploded. After they survived, Jack and Annie flirted a little. The police got a call from Payne asking for the money. They realized he didn't know the bus had blown up, so they decided to trick him. They took the money to the designated spot and kept police all around. Payne realized he had been fooled. He decided to kidnap Annie and dress her up as a police officer. He deceived Annie to follow him, kidnapped her, and took the money. Jack came to his hideout and asked him to release Annie since he had gotten the money, but he refused. He took Annie onto a moving train, shot the driver, and handcuffed Annie to the train. Jack got on the train's roof. Jack shot at Payne from the roof. Payne then climbed up to meet him on the roof. They both fought on the train roof as the train moved. Jack saw a railway signal ahead, pushed Payne towards it, and the signal cut off his head. He entered the train and removed the bomb kept on Annie, but he couldn't take off the handcuff. The train was moving into a dead end, and Annie begged him to jump off the train. He refused to leave her, and they both hugged as the train went off the railway and crashed into a construction site. Ending the movie, Jack and Annie talked about the chance of starting a relationship, and they kissed. Thank you for watching the recap. Please remember to subscribe to our channel so you will get notified when we post the next recap. If you enjoyed the movie recap, we will have a link to buy this movie in the description. See you next time.